Okay, my YouTube friends, Roy Free Sr. bringing you back another awesome video. At least I think it's awesome. I hope you do. About Danny Padilla, the Giant Slayer. I always was a fan of Danny's. Always thought he was a really good bodybuilder and a good guy. This picture is from the shape that he was in for the 81 Olympia, which was, I thought, his best performance. I think he thinks it was his best performance. And I think he thinks he kind of got shafted in that and coming in 5th place. And we'll talk about that later. But we're going to start out with this pretty cool back article, which was from another Muscle Builder magazine from 1978. 78 was a really good year for Muscle Builder. Had a lot of great articles and great pictures. Talks about him losing in 76 at the Universe to Muhammad Makawi, and then he came back in 77 to and he won that contest. And he's just talking about his motivation for going into that contest, and one of his better body parts they talk about is his back. And you could see him standing here next to Franco. This was from January of 78. And honestly, his legs look better. His shoulders look thicker. And, I don't know if, obviously Zane won 3 Olympias, so he's certainly no slouch. But I think Danny was right up there with him. Here he's talking some smack about coming up against Makawi. There he is, and he's got the tan going on. He really doesn't have any flaws. He's got good vascularity. He's got good abs. His legs are big and ripped. I thought I've never seen a really bad picture of Danny. Talking about when he first got to the West Coast. Danny actually started training, as we'll see from a 91 interview, when he was 7 years old, which is a little bit crazy. And he talks about, he implies that he doesn't even start doing steroids until he's like in his early 20s. As opposed to, he's talking about, guys these days, they don't even want to train without taking something. So he goes into the back routine here, and he does start out with wide grip chins, really wide grip chins. And that's been a favorite of a lot of guys, as we talked about with Sergio in a couple videos back. But there he is, and he's got that same, that device that just hang on a straight bar. It's got the angles. Hands are really wide. Does his chins to the front, and although he does use behind the neck ones, which we'll see pictures of later, but he seemed to prefer to the front, and didn't use any extra weight, and would do but a lot of reps, like 12 to 15 reps. And of course, exercise number 2, he talks about doing either T-bar rows or wide grip barbell rows, which we don't have pictures of the T-bar rows, but we do of the bent over barbell rows, and he's getting an even extra stretch, standing on a block there. And you can see it looks like just like 135 pounds there, and I think he doesn't go past like 155 on those. But, if you do strict, and especially off a block like he's doing to get the extra stretch, you don't need to do a ton of weight to really get good benefits from that exercise. There he is at the top, and he brings it to the waist. So he trains chest and back on the same day. And again, on Monday and Thursday, so it'll be chest and back, and then we'll talk about the rest of the stuff that he does. We'll see like his full routine, we're going to get into a little bit later, which is from this 91 interview. But there he is at that Universe contest, I'm pretty sure this is. And his legs look massive there, especially for his size. His excellent sweep, they're cut, his calves look big, his shoulders look big. Just talking about finishing up on the the rows. Again, he talks about he only goes up to like 155-pound bar. And then he says on the alternate T-bar exercises, he likes to use a narrow grip as possible. And he does it off foot blocks so he can get a good, he likes to get good stretches on everything. The bar can be lowered beyond, what would be the floor level otherwise when you have those blocks. And again, he likes to do up to 12 reps on those. Doesn't use a particular breathing system. Some people did, some people didn't. Some people just feel it. It just kind of throws off your timing and stuff. There he is with the behind the neck pull downs at the top. And you'll see he does bring it down pretty far behind the head, touching at his neck. I mean, you see a lot of these people doing these in the gym, and they'll be like, maybe touch the top of their head. And Danny liked to get the full movement on everything. And again, not using tons of weight, but doing strict and some higher reps and really strict stuff. So then he talks about the seated horizontal cable pull, starting out with 120 pounds for 15 reps, and then he increases the weight and drops the weight a little bit, or drops the there he is at the finish of the kind of went backwards on this because we're showing the finish first, and then we're going to show the start where he's fully stretched forward. And you can see the look of determination on his face. This has always been one of my favorite lat building exercises. And again, you see, nothing really unusual, nothing exotic, just kind of standard stuff. And he feels that hits really entire back, that particular exercise. Talks about when he first got here and was training for the 76 Mr. Universe, not having access to the best stuff until he eventually got the golds. There he is doing another favorite of mine, this one-arm dumbbell rows. And you can see that's a pretty heaviest dumbbell there. I'm not sure what that is, but it looks like it's at least like a 100-pound dumbbell. And again, he likes to do a little bit more reps. He likes to do them nice and strict. He's not using a lot of body English to get the weight up and down. And that's just kind of Danny's style. Again, talking about the equipment differences and stuff. Talking about diet a little bit, and we'll get into briefly some stuff on his diet in that next piece of that 91 article. But there he is doing behind the neck chins, and you can see his back looks really good. I don't see any flaws there. And again, he likes to do those wide, and he brings himself up all the way to where his back of his neck is hitting the bar, and that's pretty tough to do. So this is finishing up the back article from that one from Danny. They're going to show a couple of the covers that he was on. Here he was. This was in March of 80, on Muscle Training Illustrated, with Dan Laurie's magazine. Standing there with John Kemper, who was another good guy back in those days. And this is the first page. We're going to have 2 pages of his contest, and you can see he was in quite a few Olympias. Came in 3rd in the lightweight in 78, and then 5th in the lightweight in 79. And like I said, really in 81, he came in 5th, and he certainly should have done better than 5th. But he was in quite a few, a lot of stuff between the early 70s, mid 70s, up to around 2000. This was that Mr. Universe, I think, that he was describing training for in the beginning of that back article. But you can see it looks really good there. He's got good abs, he's got the serratus, nothing really lacking. Here's where he's talking about, I probably 15 years of solid training before I ever messed with the game, which he's talking about steroids. And talking about kids these days. They want to jump right into taking stuff. There he is, and you can see he's smiling, and, he talks about him being one of the good guys of the sport, which I think he was. Didn't have a lot of negative to say about anybody. He was a big fan of Arnie. So, we'll get into a little bit different version of his Monday, Thursday routine, and then the other days we'll cover the details of what he did. But here this magazine shows him at the top left. This was from that 81 Olympia, and you could see he did talk about Franco having a bitch tit, which you could see in that picture, and his legs not being very cut. And yeah, it's all true. Yet Franco wins. Platz came in second. His legs were insane. I think his legs were too big. And I think the judges even said his legs were so big that they were just out of proportion. And that's why he didn't win. So here's just a slight variation of the Monday, Thursday routine, which is back and chest. And interestingly, he deadlifts here for 5 sets of 12. So I have to imagine he wasn't going crazy with the weight there. He's on a cover of Bodybuilder from September of 1980. And again, he looks pretty dang good. Well, you kind of have to make a magazine cover, right? So Tuesday and Friday, he would do arms and shoulders. And then Wednesday and Friday, he would do legs and abs. So we'll show the details on those in the next couple of panels. So there's the shoulders and arms. That's so what is it? Like four sets of shoulders, and then looks like 3 sets each of biceps and triceps. 5 sets of 8s on the biceps, and then he seems to like a little bit more reps on the tricep stuff. Sets of 12s. Not sure why, but that was his way. So that was the shoulder and arm routine. There's his back again, just a nice back shot of him, and nice rear delts, and the traps really stand out. And nothing really lacking there. Had an outstanding back, I thought. Nice lat spread, So then we'll go into Wednesday and Friday. He did the legs and abs. Interestingly, he starts with leg extensions, which, you could say is a warm-up. Most guys like to start with the heavier stuff, like the squats and leg presses, and then kind of finish with the leg extensions and curls and stuff. Here again, there's a picture of him. He's got a smile on his face. He always seems to be, like it says on the bottom here, Danny's one of the good guys in the sport. And he did, of course, as he was training for a contest, would move into that double split routine where you're training twice a day. He talks about like chest and back in the morning and doing legs at night. Sometimes do shoulders the next morning, and just basically training 6 days a week and getting everything at least twice. There's a nice side chest pose, and you can see he's got the big rib cage thing going on, like a lot of guys back in those days had. And they did like to use the push-pull system. Interestingly, Danny didn't shy away from cardio. In fact, it talks about that he would jog 5 miles 3 days a week and did a lot of bicycle riding, and said if you're worried about losing mass from doing cardio, then just eat a little bit more. So here we go back. This was from the 81 Olympia. And you can see Platz's legs are ridiculous. Platz was really huge. Franco in the middle there, and his legs are And there he is. And he did have an injury to one of his legs back in the late 70s that did prevent him from, doing as heavy squats and stuff like that as he could have before. So that's probably, and that one leg in particular, he looked like he was trying to kind of hide. And then you had Dickerson, who obviously placed in the top 5 there. But did Danny get shafted in 81? I think so. Just like Menzer got shafted in the one where Arnie suddenly came back to win his 7th Olympia. There, again, just to reiterate, this is his shape in the 81 Olympia. His legs are big, ripped. He's ripped everywhere. I was going to post this whole interview from 91, which is where he talks about starting training when he's 7 years old, had dreams about being Mr. America, which of course he did eventually become. You can find that entire interview if you care to look at it. It's on the Diddlo blog, which is a great site. And I suggest you do if you want to find out some more information about Danny. So thanks for watching. Thanks for hitting the like buttons. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for subscribing. If you haven't subscribed, I really would appreciate it if you me out and try to keep bringing the content. Thanks for watching, and I'm out.